All right, cool. So we are live. Good morning, everyone in the live trading room, and everyone on YouTube. You know what to do. Smack that like button and that subscribe button so you can follow us every single day with the content that we're providing, and just to follow our trades, just so you can see exactly what we do here. And our YouTube channel gives you a pretty good sneak peek on exactly what we do day in and day out. So with that being said, let's just jump right into our A list for today. I'm going to start off with Tilray. So Tilray is gapping up pretty nicely. It's got some good momentum. There's news on Tilray that they are expanding to New Zealand to provide medical cannabis products. Very good fundamental news for this stock. And as you can see, it closed yesterday at $24.41. Hit a high of almost $28 this morning in pre-market. I think this stock is going to have some more room to run today. It's going to be a really fun one to trade. It is flagging here. Let me adjust this to the 5-minute. It's flagging here. So what I would need to see is the following. I need Tilray to hold 26.50 range. If it can hold that range, then we can look to buy Tilray and trade it to the upside for a target of the breakout of pre-market high, which is sitting at 27.93, right? So if you want to buy it, you can get in it. Put your stops at 26.50. That's my personal opinion. If you want to give it a little bit more room, I mean, you can give it down to 25.67, but I mean, you'd be, depending on the size of the position that you take, that'd be a pretty deep loss in my opinion. So I would keep my stops a little bit tighter. But I do like Tilray. I think this could run. It's got, it's a Reddit stock. It's a meme stock, whatever you want to call it. There's good momentum on it. It's trading good volume in pre-market, which I like as well. So Tilray is going to be on my A list for today. Another name that I'm gonna watch very closely is Mara. Why? Because right now I'm watching Bitcoin. Bitcoin is at 56,200. Bitcoin has been on a tear. I'm already invested in Bitcoin from 36,000, so I'm enjoying the ride. I also was swinging MSTR. Did take my profits on MSTR this morning, so I'm done with that swing. Just try not to get too greedy with it. I did kind of bear through the sell-off, but I was adding into my position in the 600s, and now today I sold it this morning for 761. So nice profit on that one. But nonetheless, with Mara, I like Mara over Riot and SOS and the other ones because I can personally short it if there is a sell-off. And you guys know that I like to be able to take both sides of the trades, right? If I can only just go long, then I'd rather just not mess with it because it removes 50% of the opportunities for me. So, but Mara was just flagging, broke out. We need this to chill a little bit. We need it to chill a little bit because it's running hot. It's gapping up almost 4 points. Riot is doing the same thing. Riot is gapping up, let's see, a little bit more aggressively, actually 6 points. So, personally for me, I need these stocks to chill. Maybe we can see some pullback, some consolidation, and then go for a long. But nonetheless, as long as Bitcoin keeps pushing, then Mara, Riot, and all these other names are going to push. So just pick your favorite one, right? And then you can trade it as a proxy to Bitcoin here in the stock market. Gamestop is going to be also on my A list. Gamestop, Jesus, man, it almost hit $300 in pre-market, and it is selling off a little bit. However, if we can get GameStop above 278, then I think this is going to be in play for a nice curling action, and we can put our stops at like 270. So you'd be risking about 7 to 8 points, and then the bet is that we can reclaim 286 and retest that pre-market high of 296. If GameStop just starts to sell off, you can look to short it at 270, but I would keep stops a little tight, maybe 273. Keep it super tight. Don't give GameStop too much room, because if you try shorting this thing, it can easily pop 10 points in your face, and if you're 100 shares short, that's $1,000 you lose in a blink of an eye. So be a little careful with it. I'd rather pull back reversal, go long. That's my personal bias on it. Apple. Apple is going to be on my A list for today. It's breaking out already in pre-market. Why? Because we got some inflation economic data. Inflation is coming in a little bit softer than anticipated, and that's why you see a huge pop in the NASDAQ and the S&P 500. The reason for the sell-off the last couple of weeks was because the fear of inflation, higher interest rates, and now we're getting economic data proving that inflation came in a little softer last month. So now you're getting these tech stocks just going on a boom. Tesla is almost at $700. 3 days ago, this stock was at $550, right? So that just goes to show you the aggressive rebound that these tech names are going to have. And let's point something out too. The tech names had a severe correction, specifically in the NASDAQ, but history has proven that higher interest rates does not lead into a bear market, right? So that's what a lot of the institutions, that's what a lot of the bulls are saying on Wall Street, and so far they're right. Let's see if this bounce can hold overall with the overall market. But as of right now, it's looking to be in their favor. You know, right now the NASDAQ or the triple Qs has reclaimed the 13 MA. We really need to see the triple Qs reclaim the 20 MA, which is sitting at 321. If it can reclaim that, then this whole correction, I would call it to be over. If it could reclaim that 20 MA and just bounce. Definitely, if we see it reclaim 325, yeah, this correction was very short-lived. So, but with that being said, on the tech name side, I'm going to keep a very close eye on Tesla and Apple. Apple, yesterday's highs was at like 122. So if we could break out of 122, then yeah, this thing is, you definitely want to be on some calls on this one. And if you look at a longer term chart on Apple on the daily, it has more room to run. The 20 MA is sitting at 126. I'm not saying we're going to hit 126 today, but Apple is a solid buying opportunity. We're still only 5-6 points away from the 200-day moving average. Guys, buy Apple. Seriously, as like a long-term swing. Like this stock is good, man. And I don't know if you guys, read my research that I post here, but Wedbush came out and gave Apple a $225 price target and placed it on their best ideas list. It's pretty simple. You have one of the most influential stocks in the world sitting at its slightly above its 200-day moving average. That is a screaming buy opportunity. So I digress. I think I've emphasized that more than enough. But from a day trade perspective, I'm all over Apple today. One other name that I'm going to keep a close eye on is Mnov. It's a small cap. I traded it yesterday in after hours. Look at that. Closed yesterday at $5.68 and ran up to like $12. I only traded it from like, when did I get? Oh yeah, I got in super late, like at $9.65 and sold it at like $10.30, and then it ripped another like 2 points. I was like staring at it like, oh my God, come on. But nonetheless, I like it today because we got a price target upgrade on it. And it's from Maxim Group, not a tier 1 firm, but nonetheless, they gave it a $15 price target. And look at the volume that is traded this morning. And another thing to keep in mind is the small float that it has. So I like that because the combination of good fundamental news, a small float, and a price target upgrade, you could see this stock be bought up and get some good action on it. It's already traded 6.4 million shares in pre-market, and it has a float of 48 million. So we haven't cycled through the entire float just yet, but I'm going to keep a very close eye because if volume starts to kick in, this is going to be a fun one to trade. So that's my A list. My B list, I've got some other names like, NEO, PLTR, and just some other names, GE. So, but those are my B lists. I'm not going to go over them because we don't have enough time, right? Taj, so I'm going to pass it on to you, brother.
Yeah, so 100% agree with that Apple call. Alex and I were talking a little earlier about Apple, how we were looking for one more bad day yesterday, for Apple to start some swing positions. If it could come down and test that 200 MA at 114. Unfortunately, the low was only 116.20. But I was personally expecting yesterday the market to gap down before we started to pick up a rally. But especially seeing that on Monday, a lot of the names closed right at the low of day. But nonetheless, we didn't get that opportunity. Market gapped up and then really hasn't looked back since then. So I do think Apple's a really good swing. Really gonna consider even taking it right out of the gates. We forgot to take our swings yesterday, actually. When we first bought it for a day trade, we were talking about picking up swings as well. So if you did end up doing that, congratulations, you're enjoying this run, and hold on to it. Apple could easily hit 126, 127, just off of a relief bounce. Even if downside does continue, a solid relief bounce could at least get you back up to the 20 period moving average. So I really, really like that play. Another name I'll be watching for people who can't play GameStop, keep an eye on AMC. AMC is trading very similarly to GameStop. We were talking yesterday that there really was no resistance on AMC until $11, and that's exactly what we ended up hitting during the pre-market hours last night. It did break out of 11 a little bit more. It went up to 11.80. But as you can see, $11 is really like a key level, right? It kind of bounced off of it quite a few times. Now you're starting to dip below it. So if we can reclaim $11, I'd like to see a breakout above around 11.40 before I start looking for any long opportunities. However, if it is weak out of the gates, you could start looking for shorts around 10.80, and then throw your stops around 11.10 or so. See if you can get a flush to the downside. If this isn't going to hold, I think you could see an aggressive sell-off because you did run to some resistance here at $11. So if that price is rejected, you could see AMC sell off. However, if it's able to reclaim that $11, don't get in the way because this thing could run, right? So with AMC, I'm going to be very patient with it and let it choose this direction, and then I'll take the position that I want to get in. Same thing with GameStop. GameStop, gapped up pretty aggressively all the way up to nearly $300. Now it's down to $267. It does look a little weak right now, but like Alex said, at any moment, this thing can change in the blink of an eye. It can pop, and next thing you know, it's at $280 in the opening, 2 minutes of the candle. So be patient with a lot of these plays because you don't want to get in the way. When the stock chooses a direction, you're on the opposite side of it. But other than that, I will be keeping a close eye on NEO. NEO has a lot of volume going on right now in the pre-market session. We're doing about 200,000 shares per 5-minute candlestick. So the volatility is there. Yesterday was an extremely strong day for NEO. If I'm not mistaken, I believe it closed up nearly 18%. And right now, you're having a nice little rally here happen off of the 8 of May. So NEO, I'm going to see it calm down a little bit, maybe get a little bit more consolidation here. But if we can get a pause in the price action, we can look for a potential long around 43.80. There are stops around 43.30. And honestly, let me see. Let's go ahead and delete this because we already broke that resistance. There's really nothing that I see until around $45 on NEO.
Yep.
And then after that, you're looking at the 20 MA. So NEO has a still good amount of room to run. I know some of you all are still holding swings. So if you are, hey, feel free to hold on to it a little longer. Go to a bar by bar stop on the daily, and see if we can test that 20 MA. Maybe look to take profits around there. Looking back, I definitely wish I was holding my swing because I think I sold around $39, and here we are up to $44. So, for everyone holding on, congrats. This is a home run trade for you guys. I'm also just going to be keeping an eye on the overall market. I think today's going to be a day similar to the past, week, 2 weeks that we've had. you can really just choose any name that you like trading. The entire market's gapping up just as it was yesterday. So, choose names that you like to trade because especially if it's in tech, they're pretty much going to be moving today. So with that being said, I'll be keeping an eye on both the Qs and the SPYs. Like I said, we are gapping up pretty aggressively. Qs closed at 311.77 yesterday. We're up to 315.80. So that's a 4-point gap up on it. And if I'm looking at the Qs, I mean, the only thing standing in its way is really the 20 MA on the daily chart, which is around 322 from yesterday's close. It's probably a little bit lower now since the, if you're including pre-market data. But nonetheless, that's still at least, 5 points away from the current price. So it still has room to run. The only thing I would caution is, like I said, the first few minutes of the market, let it cool down a little bit because we did just have an aggressive bounce. Looking here at the Qs, at 8:30, we were trading at $311, and within not even an hour, 45 minutes, we're already all the way up to 316. That's almost a full day of price action for the Qs.
Right.
Gapping up $5. Don't chase it. Let's let it do its thing first, and then look for a proper entry. Another name I'll be watching. This will be I have two more names. So Space Virgin Galactic is another name that I'll be watching. Again, this was a stock that was extremely oversold, bounced off of the 200 MA on the daily chart, and is now catching a nice bounce. Closed yesterday at $30.20. We're gapping up to 32.62. So we're gapping up nearly 2.5 points. So again, for anyone who took the swing down here around that $24, $25 range, even if you got in at 27, 28, I mean, you're looking great. There's really no resistance until around $35. So again, this is a stock that has room to run. The pre-market volume isn't nearly as high as some of the other names. However, one thing you know about Virgin Galactic is when it starts running, it's one of those names that can really start running. So as of now, it starts to break out above like 32.90. You can look for a long 30 stops around 32.50 and see if you can break out above that $33 price range and maybe come close to that $35, $34 price range. So just keep an eye on it. It's more so going to be on my B list than my A list. But again, just as it was yesterday, as it started to pick up that momentum, it would have rewarded you heavily had you traded it when it started really going. And then another name I'll be keeping an eye on is, since the pot stocks are booming, if you're a little hesitant to trade Tilray, you can always look at APHA. It trades hand in hand with Tilray. So definitely keep a close eye on this here. I'll actually just bring up a chart of Tilray, and you'll see it's literally identical, right? However, it's about half the price of Tilray. So if you see Tilray taking off with the same technicals, definitely look at APHA. I'd like to see it reclaim about $19.90. If it does, you can throw your stops at $19.50. And there's really no resistance until, let's see, we're running into the 20 MA here. That's at $19, so we're above that. So there's really no resistance until around $21.20. So this is another name that you can take advantage of. Like I said, if the Tilray contracts are too bad or you can't trade the shares of Tilray, just keep an eye on APHA. But other than that, my A list is going to be AMC, Apple, the overall market, and NEO as well. That's going to be pretty much my big 4 or 5, depending on how many stocks I just named.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of good names. And as you guys can see, the theme is Bitcoin, pot stocks, tech stocks, obviously your meme stocks with AMC and Gamestop, and then some small caps. So just don't get overwhelmed by all the names that we just provided. Pick your favorite 2 to 3, maybe even 4, and just stay laser focused on the technicals. And stay laser focused on when your entry points are going to be for the short and for the longs, depending on where the market goes. And we'll be good. Let's just make that good money today and, close out the day early if possible. So with that being said, guys, for everyone on YouTube, thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see you all tomorrow.